a developing story out of Harlem where a teenager was shot while getting onto an MTA bus. Our Rebecca Greenberg joins us now with the very latest on this story. And
New York one let off.
Is lucky to have survived this.
That's 100% true, Rochelle. He was actually grazed in the side of his head with the bullet as he was boarding that MTA bus on the corner of West 139th Street and Lenox Avenue, right where I'm standing. Another bullet actually struck the protective glass in front of that MTA bus driver and also hit the windshield. And as you said, it is truly remarkable that they both survived. According to the NYPD, the number of youth shooting victims has nearly doubled this year compared to the same time period in 2019. The clergy liaison for the NYPD was right here where the incident happened. He says too many young people are getting hurt and the violence needs to stop.
And as a clergyman, I'm sick and tired of visiting these kids at the hospital. When is enough is going to be enough?
And that 14-year-old was taken to Harlem Hospital just a few blocks from where I'm standing right now. The MTA bus driver was as well. And the MTA was here today. They held a press conference, and they said it's a miracle that the driver survived his attack.
You know, what a traumatic experience this must have been. And out of the grace of God, we know that he did not suffer any physical injuries. So I just want to say my heart goes out to him.
And police say that the alleged shooter ran away on foot after shooting his gun. The NYPD says after looking at the video of the incident, it appears as though this shooting was intentional, but we don't have any information about who this alleged shooter might be or what the motive was. For now, that's the latest here in Harlem. I'm Rebecca Greenberg. Rochelle, I'll send it back to you.
It's almost 2 minutes. I'll give them credits.
The Attorney General's office is investigating after an NYPD officer confessed to shooting her ex-girlfriend and killing another woman. Officers responded to a 911 call of shots fired last night in Bensonhurst. That is where they found the off-duty cop, 31-year-old Yvonne Wu, and two victims inside a home there. 24-year-old Jamie Liang was pronounced dead. Investigators say
But surprisingly, they sent a reporter over there this morning.
Here's what one of the neighbors told us.
Yeah, see? Watch.
This is sad. I feel bad for the poor cop. I mean, to really kill somebody like that over breaking up or being with somebody else, you really have to be distraught in your mind.
Wu is a 5-year veteran of the police department. Police say
and again, out of all places, Bensonhurst is supposed to be a safe area.
The was sentenced in Manhattan today for the murder of Tessa Majors. It was a crime that really stunned the city, and now that teen will spend quite some time behind bars. New York One's criminal justice reporter Dean Meminger joins me now from that courthouse with the latest on this. Dean.
Yeah, Rochelle, Tessa Majors.
Well, surprisingly, Channel 7 didn't even send the reporter over to the courthouse. That's kind of surprising.
But her life was cut short by a group of other teenagers, and they were actually much younger than she was, only 13 and 14 years old at the time when they attacked that 18-year-old. Now, emotions and tears inside of the courtroom as they discussed the robbery and murder of Tessa Majors.
Do apologize if the iPad's showing notifications. I should have put it on Do Not Disturb mode.
Not only her father, but the father of the teenager who was sentenced in this case. They both walked in and out of the courtroom. At times, Tessa Majors' father crying openly, and at one point he had to walk out of the courtroom. Now, there was a victim impact statement read in the court by the prosecution from the parents of Tessa Majors. In part, that victim impact statement said, on December 11th, 2019, the hopes and dreams for our daughter Tess came to a tragic end. Nearly 2 years later, we still find words inadequate to describe the immeasurable pain, trauma, and suffering that our family has endured since her senseless murder. It went on to say, we have not been able to grieve our daughter properly or in peace. Nearly 2 years after her murder, we still have very little closure. Now, once again, this was back in December of 2019 when Tess Majors, a student at Barnard College, she was in Morningside Park when 3 teens attacked her. Prosecutors and police say they tried to steal her cell phone. She fought back. She tried to run away. They stabbed her. For the first time in court, they actually showed a video of Tess Majors dying on the sidewalk.
Oh
They
my
say she
goodness.
stumbled up the stairs. She had been
And they've
stabbed
hidden
in the
this
heart,
tape
and she
now
was
for 2
bleeding
years.
internally when she collapsed and died. They said she was actually trying to order an Uber on her phone after she died. Now, 16-year-old Luciano Lewis, he was sentenced to 9 years to life in prison for the murder and 3 to 10 years for the robbery. He did speak as well, apologizing to Tess Majors' family and to his family as well. Now, in part, speaking to Tess's family, he says, "As a human, I feel ashamed, embarrassed, and sad. I am deeply sorry for your loss." Speaking to his father in court, his own father, the teen started to cry. He said, "Dad, I am sorry that I failed. I promise I will make you proud again."
How can he make him proud when he's going to be spending the rest of his life in prison?
He thought about giving the teen the minimum, but that the teen has been in a lot of trouble while locked up, including participating in a gang assault while behind bars. So once again, he will now face 9 years to life behind bars. There's another teen who has pled not guilty, and his trial will happen in the near future. That is the very latest in Lower Manhattan. Dean Memminger, New York 1. Let's go.
You
back
can
to
blame COVID for making the courts work slow. There you go. At least New York 1 did a decent job covering the news today, but the problem was there was 2 other shootings that happened today. There was one in Brownsville and another that happened in Washington Heights. They didn't even cover that. So once again, I'll give New York 1 credit. They did a decent job covering some of the important news stories today, and I'll give them credit for leading off with the kid that was shot in Harlem. But there was other stories that have been forgotten, and it seems we have to go on to NYC_alerts 911, and I want to thank Jonathan D'Souza from Passengers United for making me aware of this on Twitter. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be knowing about what's really going on with the crime that New York 1 really isn't covering. And Channel 2 actually brought this up because I was watching their noon broadcast, because normally on Thursdays and Fridays, and even when I'm at Osnum or, when I'm on lunch break, I'll try to catch the beginning of Channel 2 news while I'm on break, but day I'm home in Fresh Meadows, I have to find out more crime happens, and there was a confirmed male shot in Washington Heights today, West 161st Street and Riverside Drive. Confirmed male shot in the upper thigh, aided not likely, search for 2 suspects. One is a male black, and another is a man Hispanic. Suspect 1's wearing a yellow hoodie, black pants. Suspect 2 wearing a black hoodie, black pants. So we got more stuff we got to cover. I want to get to the important stuff. I mean, so much crime going on in the Bronx that it's even hard for New York 1 to keep up with it. And, they can't constantly cover the crime, and I get that. But, there's so much that is going on. Look at this. Confirmed gunpoint robbery by Fordham Plaza. Gold chain, bracelet, and a ring taken. 2 male black suspects fled northbound on Webster Avenue in a gray BMW 535i. So, there you go. And then, look at this. Look at this. An incident forgotten in Queens. 39-18 90th Street. Confirmed shots fired. Suspect male is a male Hispanic wearing a long-sleeved shirt, black shirt, white lettering on the chest. Suspect 2 is a male Hispanic wearing a black mask, black t-shirt, black sweatpants. Both fled westbound on 37th Avenue. So, I'm just taking a look on my iPad for a second, and I'm looking up this address right now, and I just want to confirm where it is. 90th Street, Queens. So I'm Googling it. And it appears this looks like this is Jackson Heights, not too far from the 90th Street, Elmhurst Avenue 7 train station. And look at this. Robbery in Midtown. New York One should have covered this. 451 Lexington Avenue. Let me look up the cross streets. My goodness, this account should at least list the cross street in Midtown. No, this is Manhattan. What's going on? Why can I get the Manhattan address? Here we go. This is by East 46th Street. So, wow. Right by Grand Central Terminal. So, let's read this. Confirmed robbery at TD Bank. Suspect is a male Caucasian in his 50s, 6 feet tall, wearing a blue Nike sweatshirt. Fled southbound on Lexington Avenue from East 45th Street. So, I was just double-checking the address. So, yeah, right by the other entrance that I know very well where my $1 pizza place slices. I'm sorry if my words are slurred. It's just that I'm so distraught that New York One should have covered this. And then look at this, shooting on the Cross Bronx Expressway. So much is going on. So much, you know? And AM New York has a bunch of other stuff we're going to look at. I'm using my phone tonight for a change of pace because I feel iMovie works a lot quicker on this iPhone 8. So here we go. Man takes failed shot during street argument in Brooklyn. So, detectives continue to search for a shooter responsible for a murder which occurred just before 10:55 a.m. October 14th in front of a bakery at 1096 Rutland Road. Law enforcement sources said the male victim had engaged in a dispute with the suspect moments before he took the fatal bullet to the chest. The victim was brought by private means to Brookdale University Hospital, where he was pronounced dead a short time later. Pending federal HIPAA law, police have withheld the victim's identity, of course, family notification. Officers from the 67 precinct responded to the incident during a preliminary investigation. They obtained the description of the suspect, described only as a male in a gray hooded sweatshirt. So far, there have been no arrests, so... Yeah, this was just breaking tonight, because we were just first getting details about this. So... mention that. Also, you know, I want to give New York One thanks tonight for at least, you know, not only the shooting that happened in Harlem, but at least they gave more details about the lesbian love triangle last night. So I'll give them credit on that. Because, you know, they don't want to say lesbian love triangle because it's not politically correct. They're not going to tell you the truth. I'm going to be the one who tells you the truth. You know? So let's see what we got. Oh, look at this. We have a robbery right by Queens Center Mall. That again was ignored by New York One. The NYPD is searching for a suspect who impersonated a cop near the Queens Center Mall back in September. Police from the 110th Precinct in Elmhurst reported that just before noon on Wednesday, September 29th, in the vicinity of 92-10 59th Avenue, a 37-year-old woman was stopped at a red light when the suspect pulled up alongside her in a dark-colored sedan. The unidentified man displayed a shield and ordered the victim to pull into a nearby parking lot. The woman complied, and once inside the parking lot, the suspect identified himself as a police officer and told the victim to give him money or else she would be issued a ticket. The woman handed over approximately $360 in cash, and the men fled the scene in a dark-colored Hyundai Sonata. So we have a video of what happened. Let's see if I can play it. So this is the video that they have on the website. So we're looking for a light-skinned man between 45 and 55 years old who was last seen wearing a multicolored shirt, dark-colored shorts, and a baseball cap, said NYPD Crime Stoppers. There have been no arrests, ongoing investigations. So there you go. Something else New York One could have covered. And let's see. NYPD officer bitten by dog. Because that was another major story that New York One ignored today. Channel 7 brought that up. Let's see. Hopefully there's no ads on SI Live. Here we go. A police officer was attempting to detain a man Thursday morning in the Stapleton section of Staten Island, was attacked by a dog after an interaction involving the animal's male owner. A fellow officer shot at the dog in response to the attack but missed. The chaos unfolded at 11:30 a.m. on Targhee Street near Broad Street when officers were responding to a 911 call about a man with a gun, according to law enforcement sources. Members of the detective squad arrived and encountered a male fitting the description. The individual allegedly let loose his pit bull, which attacked one of the cops, biting the officer on the buttocks, according to the source. Those injuries are believed to be minor. Another officer discharged his gun one time, missing the animal. The dog's owner was taken into police custody and the animal was taken to care of the ASPCA. The incident sparked a large police presence in the area as streets were roped off and heavily armored officers hit the scene. At least one dog could be seen being removed from the scene in a crate. So, New York One covers a shooting that happened in Staten Island a couple days ago, but you're not going to cover, look at this. Let's look at the homepage. They're talking about City Council District 50. Nothing about the crime on their website. Nothing. This is ridiculous. Oh, this is a serious news story. Bill Clinton has been hospitalized in California. Well, I'll look at that on my own time. We want to focus on crime, because that's more of an issue. Look at this. New York One doesn't even post a video about what happened in Harlem. So what is going on with their website? Yeah, we're going to go to public safety, and I am going to read an article from New York One. If I can find it. Not the BB gun. I don't want to read that one. I'm going to look for the other Staten Island story. We can find it. Oh, this was a big story. There was a kidnapping in the Bronx. I'll read that. It happened on Monday. At least New York One briefly covered that. A man is facing kidnapping charges after police say he tried to abduct a 3-year-old girl in the Bronx on Monday. The NYPD said 27-year-old Santiago Soleto was charged with kidnapping, attempted kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, and endangering the welfare of a child. So this happened in the Throgs Neck section. The girl was walking with a relative just before 1:30 p.m. on Monday near East Tremont and Baisley Avenue. Police say a passerby intervened to stop Soleto. He was later arrested, and after police found him sleeping in the doorway of a restaurant. So there you go. 3 weeks ago. This is ridiculous. Well, here's some good news. They actually apprehended a juvenile delinquent who was accused of a shooting at Hunts Point Playground. Let's read this. Police have arrested a 13-year-old juvenile delinquent in connection with a shooting at a Bronx playground last week that left another teen hurt. Police say the male teen suspect faces attempted murder, assault, and harassment charges. The NYPD says a fight broke out at the Hunts Point Playground between two teenagers that happened a week ago. The victim was shot once in the knee and was taken to a nearby hospital. So, brief descriptions. A New York One, but I'm desperate to save time. In fact, let me read the BB gun story. You can scroll up. Here we go. An attack involving a BB gun might not ordinarily draw a response from the top NYPD brass, but meeting with community leaders. So, late Monday night, a 23-year-old man dressed in traditional Jewish clothing was standing at the corner of Albany Avenue and Montgomery Street, where a suspect in a moving car used a BB gun to shoot him in the forehead. The victim wasn't seriously injured, but advocates like Devaya Halbun said it's left many people fearful. So, it's just very scary that, that happened, but, they're not even going to put a video of the report on the website. It's so disgusting how New York One, runs their website. They don't even give us videos anymore. Okay, so this was a shooting that happened in Staten Island last weekend. This happened in the New Dorp section. So it happened last Saturday night, October 9th. Police said there was a domestic dispute between 51-year-old Mirani Pavarnik and her son, Adnan. Officers said the 18-year-old shot his mother with a gun belonging to the father. The woman was taken to Staten Island University Hospital, where a short time later she was pronounced dead. This incident was later ruled a homicide. The teenager faces multiple charges, including murder, assault, and criminal possession of a weapon. His father was found with a cut in his chest but refused medical attention. Wow. I know New York One did briefly bring this up on the air last weekend. And I will give them credit on that. But there's other stories that, again, they're really missing the ball on. And I'm just going to wrap it up and look up Laura Uhl's page. Let's open in a new tab. We have a robbery pattern in Glen Oaks. Police reported multiple vehicles were stolen in Glen Oaks. The incidents were reported from October 3rd to the 5th in the vicinity of 75th Avenue and 255th Street. 4 vehicles were Hondas and Toyotas. So, there you go. And then Laura thankfully brought up the story that was mentioned, that we just talked about a while ago, from the NYC 911 page. So most likely that's where Laura gets her news from most cases. Yeah, and then I talked about this. So I think I'm just going to wrap this up. So that's going to conclude this video. And again, New York One, some credit today. They sort of redeemed themselves. But again, I don't know why they couldn't cover the bank robbery in Midtown. That's a big news story that should have been covered. And they should have covered the other robbery that happened at Queens Center Mall. But, that's what happens with New York One. Sometimes they don't hit the ball running. And I'll mention one last point. Today, I was at the Arby's in Fresh Meadows. I was trying to watch the news at 3 o'clock to see if they were going to talk about the shooting in Harlem. And just my luck, when I had to go to Bowler Market to get something nearby, the TV was working when I walked past, and then all of a sudden the TV went out. So, explain that. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching.